Hello, this is Defacto review for this week. With me, Jargal Tampatarja. We have selected 3 topics we find the most important events of last week. First, Mongolia is going to make next election by mixed system of proportional and majoritarian system. Second, anti-corruption actions are in full swing. 2 actions, glass and bird. That's how I will describe. The third is new business making better platform is opened. E-business platform is on now. These are 3 topics I would like to share with you my thoughts. The first about the mixed system of majoritarian and proportional system. Mongolia has one bad habit. Every election year, we change the election law. And this year is not exception. And this law can be changed only within more than 1 year before the election. So that's they do now, as usual, right now, fall a year before the spring sessions of the parliament. This shows this representative democracy is not yet fit into our system in the way that serves the people better, the democracy even better. So this time there are 3 political parties which has seats in parliament. Majority seats belong to People's Party, some less than 10 to Democratic Party, and 1 seat is to Hunnam, Labour Party. So until recently, they were all one draft, but for the last few days, Democratic Party have come to own version of this mixing. They agree with the mixing, but not the ratio of 2 systems. Well, let's go. What is the difference this time? Mongolia has 76 seats in the parliament, as I said. Now, 50% will be by this each system. 38 seats will be by majoritarian. The 38 will be by proportional. What does it mean? It means Mongolian parliament will have more politically motivated, politically ready to process law, prepare law. Politicians are to come to the parliament, which is positive side of this mixed system, where the 38 parliament seats will be elected by the list of political parties' candidates. So this time it will be 30% threshold for female candidates. Last time, in 2020, there was 151 female candidates, and only 13 of them, or 17% only, were elected. Third specifics of this election is Mongolians living abroad will be covered as much as possible, because we have some 250,000 Mongolians living abroad. It is the size of 2 or 3 IMAX in Mongolia. It is also because we need more proportional representation of people, because otherwise many people are left outside of the election system. Each political party has to put at least half of the lists, 19. If they cannot do it, they can make a coalition. But the threshold for coalition to be a parliament member is, for coalition of 2 political parties, 5% of seats, of votes. For 3 or more, 7%. For single political party, minimum 3% of votes to be taken in order to be parliamentarian. So these are major changes. The other thing also for the majoritarian part of it is the The amount of constituencies, we have last time 29 constituencies, 29 units by whole country. But now this time we need 38 constituencies, so 9 additional. Now question comes, which IMAC will have how many candidates, how many seats? For example, last time, in 2020, there was Bodgang IMAC, one of the 21 provinces, has less population, more population than, for example, Khinti IMAC. But however, Bodgang has 2 parliament members, Khinti has 3 parliament members. So there is a question of equal representation, because some parliament members represent way larger voters than the other. So it will be discussed, I think, it will be discussed next week at the State Organization, State Structure Standing Committee, to which this week they were delegated to discuss the issues before they bring to the plenary sessions of the parliament. In terms of cost of election, there are some suggestions now in this draft. For example, there were one manager for 200 votes before for the candidate, because it had to employ many managers. This time it is to be 200 more, or 400 voters will have one manager. One. Secondly, the suggestion is each political party put their candidates on one board, equal photo, so that not 19 or 38, each party will put 38 candidates. So there will not be 38 boards with their photo or picture. So now it will be only one. Second, because the non-parliament seat political parties have been participating in this draft of this election system, they demanded equal time, for example, TV. On public TV, every candidate will have equal time. Maybe very tiny, but it's to be equal. It means private TVs will make more income on that after that election. In terms of social propaganda or social campaigning, it is to be less than 15% of total cost of campaign financing of each candidate. On the average, they say, one of the parliament members, Dorj Khanda, said that on the average, price for or cost for political campaign is 600 million MNT for 2020 election. This year it is expected to be twice less, around 300 million 300 million MNT per candidate. But this, remember, it's very average, because some wealthy or rich politicians, candidates were spending way higher, billions MNT for last election. So that's what we do expect, because it's so important for Mongolian voters to have equal representation in their political lawmaking. Mongolians are paying already a great deal of attention to the new system. So that's the first question I would like to share. The second question is about anti-corruption actions of the Mongolian government. A few days ago, former Minister of Agriculture and also Parliament member Batam Junai was arrested in the Philippines, Cebu City, and was brought back to Mongolia. Well, there was a big noise on the media about him. The reason he is arrested is explained differently, but according to the head of the anti-corruption agency, he ran away from the investigation through the border by car to China, and after which he had disappeared for 2018 he had disappeared, and now after 5 years he had brought, and it in cooperation with the Philippines law enforcement agencies. That's what he said, and the other is also expected to brought back. There are certain names are already given. Yes, people were so much supporting all these actions. However, we should remind one thing, that since this is a democratic country, in our constitution it says that a person should not be regarded as criminal or guilty until it is proven by the court. And anybody's this criminal case cannot be passed to their family members and the relatives, etc. That's by our constitution. So we should refrain from taking the position him as a criminal. We should wait until the court decision comes. However, the court decisions coming is very doubtful in Mongolia, unfortunately. Why? Because it has a lot of conflict of interests. Many court decisions are delayed, postponed for years. There are several scandals. Still they keep following, and the impression is people now believe that our court system, our judges, are bribed to keep postponing these crimes. That's the people's general perception now. That's why the court system, Mongolian judges, to be first, to be open, to be transparent. In particular, each file of criminal files, when it came to the court, what was the decision of prosecutor, when the file was returned back, when they have decided to postpone it, and why the judge is changed, etc. All this information is to be open. Otherwise, the perception of regarding now our court system as a bribe institutions will not be died. The other thing is the court process should be open. In Mongolia, from time to time, mostly sometimes, they keep the court procedure always enclosed. We need more room for each court room and more space for people to come and to watch. If there is no space or small space, they should be put camera so that people can watch outside, even on the internet. That's, I think, for the sake of the reputation of the court system, we must do it. The second part of this anti-corruption action is the glass action, which is making great changes now for last month or so. There is a website called shilding.gov.mn. There are 2,590 companies and 26 special license holders. Informations are already there on this website. According to public transparency law, all state organizations, state organizations, local organizations, and NGOs that are playing the role of the state, and public TV, political parties, total 209 open information to be on this website. There is a law, so the question is when it is coming. For example, last year in December, this new Ministry of Digital Development and Communication sent letters to all these above-mentioned organizations, and 12 IMAGs have even not replied. 30 out of 38 agencies, only 18 agencies sent. 18 agencies have not sent their information. So this ministry is really opening the work, and for the first time, Mongolia see, for example, recently the name of license holders for Bogd Old, which is a protected mountain. In total, there are 36 protected land in the country for special 36 special lands, but 17 of them got licenses for illegal licenses to be held by private individuals. Just alone in Bogd Hang Old, 1,071 citizens owns 2,299 hectare land. In 887 organizations, 3,175 hectares land. So it shows what kind of laws we have about the protected area and why these people having so much land, and mostly it was a politically connected people. However, the other thing is, one thing is to own that land, but the other thing is to pay taxes, whether they have paid taxes or not, as an issue. That's why this shilling.gov.mn will be connected also with the tax collection agency, so that people see whether they have owning that big land. Some individual has a huge land, whether they have paid tax or not. If they have not paid tax, it will be good pretext to confiscate that land, because that land basically belongs to general people, but because it's a specially protected area, so it will be a good reason for at least to deduct that land from that individual. If he or she has been paying all the taxes, it will be only issue of going forward, but collecting taxes. Maybe in cases even higher taxes than ordinary general area. So that's about the shilling. I said just now, owners of the protected areas are now already listed in this website. Soon there will be an agriculture development fund. There are total 23 state funds, in the government funds in the country, and 12 of them will be transparent, because that's that fund actions will be who got the fund money, who got what. It will be on this website. So that will be shilling.gov.mn. Will be a substantial step forward. And the other good news is the cabinet had decided they enforce it, or they encourage it, or they ask each agency to send all the related informations on this field by the mid of this year. If they will not give on time, each of them will be held responsible for their actions. So this is a serious warning, and we hope there will be all information transparent on this website. Okay? All right, our third topic is about e-business platform is on now. That's another platform run and operated, or created and operated by this Ministry of Digital Development and Communication. This makes the life for businesses much easier. Now, if it took days to get just permission or registration of companies, or particular some actions that requires special licenses, now it will take only 2 days or less, even immediately. And day and night, anytime you can have this permission, because this platform never takes holidays, as we know. But it is just the beginning. E-platform has 417 specialized licenses, 42 references, certificates, and the state 226 services. In total, 658 services are available on this platform. You register, you get name, you get permission. There was a a big problem with taking names because it will take many days. They would say, we will not give you that name because it's this and that. Now there will be options, and I think it will be much faster for the people to have their business registered. For smooth running of that e-platform, one needs digital signature. And 500 citizens got this digital signature by today. The Prime Minister who was opening that e-platform had signed with his digital signature and saw all the services provided by this platform. And if we say, he said that if we have 1.5 million people using digital signature, it will be much easier for them to run that e-platform. What else? So far in this, there are two systems. One is e-Mongolia, general public service, government service enabler platform we have. We have been now already knowing well that platform. Now, second one is this e-business. In e-Mongolia system, there is 71 state organizations. 839 services are on that platform. And there is a license law in which 1,600 permissions were required. Now that permissions have deducted 4 times. Now only 360 permissions are now required. The other thing is, Mongolia had cancelled or had changed it or restructured the Mongolian General Inspection Agency, and it came now to each line ministries. Now there's 26 directions or checking inspection activities come now only 13 in that case. But however, there is one concern that if each ministry, which is supposed to be policy ministry, if it's becoming more monitoring, inspecting, that it may have a lot of conflict of interests. So that's another concern. That's why there are 2 actions to be separate. Recently also state-owned enterprises are becoming restructured. For example, Ertnis Mongolia is state-owned largest mining corporation, under which there are 35 other companies, mining companies. Just one is Ertinet, for example. The other is Oyutolga, for example, 35 of them. And they had total, for example, 270 board members. Now it will be only 20, for example. So in that way, this government is making the state-owned enterprise more transparent and make also for people in countryside, in the remote areas, having better access now to get registered their businesses, have a permission related if necessary. So that new platform, e-platform, is giving these opportunities. So these are my news for this week. 3 events, as I said. One is about the next election will be based on a mixed system of proportional and a majoritarian. The second is the anti-government, anti-corruption actions. 2 out of 5, I mentioned just 2. One is a bird, the other is glass, shilling. The third is about the e-platform opened for Mongolia, for Mongolian businesses just a few days ago, which promises to be quite helpful. So these are 3 topics, and thank you very much for being with me. And this also you can rewatch back after one day on jargaldefacto.com. And thank you very much for supporting on our website and YouTube. Thank you very much.